All right, let's go through this. So let's do some equations today. We're going to build on the concept of equations. Now, equations is all about, it's derived from the word equal, right? So whenever you see the word equations, it's about the left-hand side and the right-hand side and about keeping it balanced on either side. So
Yeah.
so example, let's say I got the number 2, it's equal to 2, right?
Uh-huh.
If I divide by 2 on this side, I'll get 1. So to keep it equal, what do? Divide by 2 on this side, it becomes 1, right? If I
Yeah.
multiply this by 10, it becomes 10. And to keep it equal, I have to also multiply the side by 10 as well, and then
Okay.
get 10, right? And if I
Uh,
minus 3 on this side, or let's say I minus 3 on this side, it will become 7 on this side. So to keep it equal, I have to minus 3 on this side. And whatever you do on the left hand side, you got to do on the right hand side to keep it equal. Okay?
yeah.
Then the next thing is you have variables. Now, variable is like x. It can take on any value, right? Variables can be any number. And let's say we have any number, we don't know what it is, and we multiply it by 2, okay? And it
Mhm.
equals to 4. So we know that this number is 2, and we know that in there is multiplication, right? In between 2 and x. So 2 times a number is 4. That number has to be 2. We know that. We can see that, right?
Yeah.
Using equations, we can divide both sides by 2 because in equations, what you do on the left hand side, you must do on the right hand side so it stays equal. And by doing that, what you will do is you'll isolate x. And when you isolate x, you've now solved the equation. Can you see at this point, you've now solved the entire equation? Okay, so let's do another one. Let's say you got 3x equals 9. I would divide both sides by 3. So whatever number's in front of x, we divide it so it cancels out, and then you simply have the variable x over there. And then 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay? So x equals 3 because 3 times 3 is 9. Let's,
Yeah.
let's build on this idea. Let's suppose now you got 3x plus 1 equals 10. In this case here, we would do multiplication last. And we would actually do BEDMAS in reverse. Now, if you remember BEDMAS, it's brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction.
Mhm.
When you're solving equations, you actually go backwards, and you're gonna do plus and minus first. You're first going to solve this by removing it. Now, to remove plus one, you do the opposite of plus one, and the opposite of plus one is minus one. So we minus one on both sides because we have to keep it equal, and that'll give you 9. Then divide by 3 on both sides because you want x, and so x equals 3. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So what did I do there? I plus one first. So if I have another equation, let's say I've got 3x minus 1 equals 8, I will plus 1 first. And then keep the 3x, move it to the right, cancel it out, it's gone, it disappeared. 8 plus 1 gets you 9, and then divide by 3 on both sides. Gets you x equals 3. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So building on these concepts, let's do a few of these easy ones, right? Let's say I got 16x equals 32. And I want you to work this one out. B, I've got 32x equals 8. C, I've got 16x minus 4 is equal to 44. And D, I've got 32x plus 10 is equal to 330. Okay? And I want you to try and solve those questions quickly. All right, so let's have a look at them, right? Let's go through each one. So the first one here, what we have is 16. So we divide both sides by 16 in front of x. We always start with whatever's in front of x, and then after that, we start with whatever's next to x. So in this case, we'll divide that out, and we'll get 32 divided by 16. It will equal 2. The next one, we divide it by 32, and this time we'll end up as a fraction. 8 divides into 32, we can simplify it, and we get x equals to 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 8 divided by 32 is 4. That'll be 4 there. The next one, I am going to plus 4 on both sides. So I would plus 4 first.
So if it's take away, then do you do the opposite and plus?
That's right. When it's take away, you do plus, and when it's plus, you do minus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you end up in this
Oh.
one here.
So is it 4 plus 4 or is it 16 plus 4?
So this is going to be so because the 4 can't add to the 16 because the 16 is next to x. Remember variables. If you have 16x plus 4, you can't add that, right?
Yeah.
So you can only add the minus 4 and the 4. So the minus 4 and the 4 will come together after you plus it, and they will cancel each other out, right? And that will leave you with 16x on the left hand side alone. And when you plus 4 on the right hand side, it'll become 48. We then divide by 16, and we get x equals to 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The next one, we're going to minus 10, right? Does that make sense? You'll be minus 10 here? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
okay, so what's 10 minus 10?
0.
Okay. And what's 330 minus 10?
320.
320. So we have 32x equals 320. Then we divide both sides by 32, and we get x equals to 10 from this.
Oh.
And then we stop there. Let's do another round. You want to try another round of this?
Yeah.
All right, let's do another round of this. All right, give it a go. All right, I'm going to go through it in one go now. So let's have a look. And remember, you can also look at it like you're moving numbers over. Okay, so the first one here, we're going to divide both sides by 8. So the 8 kind of moves over and divides into the 2, getting you a quarter.
Yeah.
And the next one, you move the 18 over and you divide it. And that gets you 2. The next one, you plus 20, move it over, it'll become 70x equals 70. Dividing both sides by 70 gets you x equals to 1. We normally write the answer right vertically downwards. I'm writing it sideways, right?
Yeah.
So plus 16 equals plus 16. And you get 252 equals 126. Yeah. And you divide both sides by 126. Like that. And that gets you 2. And those are the first few questions over there. The next one now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a variable on the right hand side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of complexity to this next one. Okay. But it's not complex. It's actually pretty simple. So watch carefully here. Let's suppose I've got 2x plus 1 equals 3x minus 1. Okay. Now, I've got x's on one side, on both sides. I need to have x on one side. I need to move all the x's either all to the left-hand side or the right-hand side. One of the two, right? I can move them both to the left-hand side or I can move them both to the right-hand side. But by moving, I'm actually subtracting it. So I could subtract negative 3x here, right? But then at the same time, I have to subtract negative 3x here because it's an equation. Remember, it has to be the same. Yeah?
Yeah.
So if I subtract negative 3x here, now you can see I have all my x's on one side. Okay. And what's 2x minus 3x going to give me? Do you know what 2x minus 3x will give you? Using the negative
-1.
negative 1x, right? So that'll become negative 1x. And then at the same time, I'm going to minus 1 here, and I'm going to minus 1 here. What's going to happen to the left-hand side? What's plus 1 minus 1?
0.
0. And this side here?
-2.
Negative 2. All right. So that side will disappear. That side becomes negative 2. Now we divide by whatever's in front of x. What's in front of x?
1.
Minus 1, right? And the minus, right? What happens when we divide by minus 1? It disappears, right? And you're left with x. But because it's an equation, you have to divide this side by minus 1 as well. And what's minus 2 divided by minus 1?
2.
2. So the final answer is 2. All right. So let's have a look at this again. So what I did here was I put negative 3x minus 3x minus 3x minus 1 minus 1. This becomes minus x. That becomes 0. This becomes 0. And this becomes minus 2. Then I divide by minus 1. And I divide by minus 1. And I'm left with x equals 2. Maybe just write that down before we try one. Okay, let's try another one, right? Let's suppose I've got now 3x minus 4 is equal to x plus 4. If I move, now let's try moving. Maybe moving, thinking about the word move might sound better. Let's say I move x, okay, and it becomes minus x, and it disappears. Let's say I move minus 4, and it becomes plus 4, and it disappears. I'm going to be left with 3x minus x, can you see that?
Yeah.
Equals 4 plus 4. And what's 3x minus x? 2x, right?
2x, yeah.
And what's 4 plus 4?
8.
8. Yes. Then divide both sides by 2. Good. And then x equals 8 divided by 2?
4.
4.
Wait, why is it divided by 2?
Because whatever number's in front of x, we divide it because we want x to be alone.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through that one more time. So the first thing we did, what's the first thing we did? What's that?
Take away x from 4 from x.
That's right. We move x over, it becomes minus x. And what do we do with the negative 4 after that? Move it over, it becomes?
Plus 4 do it.
And then it disappears. What's left on the left-hand side? What do we have on the left-hand side?
3.
X minus x, right, equals 4 plus 4. What will the left-hand side become?
2x.
That's it. And the right-hand side?
8
Now what do we do?
divided by 2.
That's it. And we're left with x equals
4.
4. Okay, you ready to try one?
Oh wait. For the x, take away. Wait. For the x, like take away x thing. Like the x take away -4.
Yes.
How is it x? Isn't it supposed to be -5?
Say that again. Is it line 2, looking at x negative 4?
Yeah. Like x take away -4. Isn't that supposed to be -5?
Oh, you mean from the first line?
Yeah.
So from the first line, we actually x is not minusing, we're moving it. We just move it over. Yeah, we're actually taking the whole thing, we're physically moving it, and we're changing the sign. So we're taking this whole x value, and and we're moving the whole x value to this side. Then we're taking the minus 4 and we're moving the whole thing onto this side, right? So we can have only numbers on one side, but when we move it, we have to change the sign. All right? So we call it, we say when we change sides, we change signs. Change sides, change signs. This is method 2, remember that. The first method, we minus the same value on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So change size, change signs, and that's how that becomes 2x, and that becomes 8.
Yeah.
Then we divide by 2, x equals 4. And you can also use common sense here. I mean, what number times 2 is 8?
4.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's try one. Suppose you got 2x minus 2 is equal to x plus 4. Try this one here. Let me know when you're done. So for this one here, so let's say I take the x and I move it over. It
Yeah.
becomes minus x, right? And I bring the 2x down. Okay, I get 2x minus x on the left-hand side. Then I take the minus 2 and I move it over and it becomes plus 2. What happened to the sign? It was minus and now it's plus because we move it, right? Why did we do that? Because when you change sides, what do? You change signs, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is 2x minus x?
1x.
1x, which is the same as x. So I'm ready to find my answer now. Whatever I end up with on the right-hand side is my answer.
6.
6. And I'm done.
Oh.
All right, write that down, and then I'll give you another one. Okay, you ready? Do you want to try another one?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we get the next one. Then we can go to the next type after this one, okay? So here we go. This next one here, I give you 6x minus 4 equals 2x plus 6. Oh, let's make it 8. 2x plus 8. Write that down. Carefully move it over. Change sides, change signs. All right, and we'll go through it in a bit. Through this one, and I'll give you another one. So you're getting the right-hand side perfectly. Now it's just the left-hand side we got to work on, right? So what am I doing? I'm going to move this over. It's going to become minus 2x. Done. This disappears from me. Then I move the minus 4 over. It becomes plus 4.
Yeah.
And then 6x minus 2x becomes 4x.
Yeah.
And 4 plus 8 is 12. Dividing by 4 on both sides will become 3. Okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. And that will be your answer there. All right, so there you got 3 questions now. Try these, and then when you're done with these, we're going to try the next type. And the next type, if you're ready, it's going to be one involving brackets, but we'll go through this one in a bit. The next type looks like this. Okay, so we'll do this one in a bit, but you can try it if you want.
Yeah.
Try question 1, 2, and 3. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, if we start off with the first one here, we're going to divide both sides by 3, right? And we're going to get x equals to 5. The next one, we're going to plus 2 on both sides, or move the 2 over, and you're going to be left with 3x on the left-hand side, and 2 plus 19 gets you 21. Divide by 3 on both sides, and you get x equals to
7.
7. Good. And then you plus 2 on both sides for the next one. You'll get 3x and also minus x on both sides for this one, yeah? The plus 2 in that will cancel, leaving you at 3x minus x. minus x will cancel, leaving you at 8 plus 2 is 10. So that becomes 2x equals 10.
Yeah.
And so x equals 5. Dividing by 2 on both sides, I get x minus 2 equals 4. And then moving the 2 over, I get x equals to 6 for this one. Have a look at that last one. We'll do another one like that in a bit. What do you think of the last question?
The last question. I'm a bit confused.
All right, so what did I do first in the last question? What was the first thing I did?
X take away 2.
Divided by 2, right?
Divide. Wait, why is it divide?
So I divided by the 2 because it would then cancel the 2 out and it would get me closer to the bracket. So I got rid of the bracket now because now whatever's on the inside, I could take out of the bracket. And by dividing by 2, what you actually have is you got 2 times, and you see x minus 2, they stuck together in the bracket, equals 8. So I can divide by 2 on both sides because that'll get me 4, and it will release the bracket. You can now take it out of there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a few of these. I'll show you a quick round of a few of these.
So is it always going to be divide?
If it's multiply, yes. So yeah, so for these ones definitely. So let's say I got 2x minus 2 equals 10. And let's say I got 3x plus 1 equals to 12. Let's say I got 18x minus 17 equals to 36. And let's say I got 26, 3x plus 1 equals to 26. All right, so let's look at the first one. The first one over here, I'm going to divide by 2, right, on both sides. And that's going to become x minus 2 equals 5. Then I plus 2 on both sides, and I get 7. So my final answer is x equals 7 for this one. Let's look at the next one. Next one, I divide by 3 on both sides. I bring out the bracket. I'm left with 4 now. I minus 1 on both sides, and I get x equals to 3. This one, divide by 18 on both sides, and I get x minus 17 equals 2. So I now add it over, it becomes 19. And remember, this has to be 19 because 19 minus 17 is 2. So think about that as well. The next one, I divide by 26 on both sides, and this one becomes 1. And I'm left with 3x plus 1. Came out of the bracket now. I now minus 1 on both sides, and I'm left with 0 on the right-hand side and 3x. The only number x can be is 0, because if I divide this by 3 and I divide that by 3 as well, it will become 0.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, you ready to try a few of these?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Wait, can I write down the formula first?
Yeah, go for it. You can write down a few of those if you need to before we start the next one. All right, get ready for one of each of those.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So I got 3x minus 1 equals 21. $15 x plus 10 equals 30.
Yeah.
And 2x minus 3 18. Try those three. The second, you can get negative answers. So look at the second question. If you get a negative answer for that, it's okay. All right. So for the first question, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by
3
3. So we divide, what's 21 divided by 3?
and 7.
7. Then I'm going to plus 1 because I need to get rid of the minus 1 to get x alone. And what's 7 plus 1?
8.
8. All right. Now try the next one. So what's the first thing you're going to do for b? Divide both sides by?
15.
Yeah.
15.
And what will the right hand side become? Divide both sides by 15 and you divide the right hand side. What will that become?
1 and 2.
This will become 2, right? What about this? We just rewrite it, right?
Yeah, x plus 10.
All right. Now what do we do? To get rid of the 10, what do we do? Minus,
Minus 10.
because it will disappear then, right? Leaving you with x. But because it's an equation, we're going to do the same thing on the right-hand side. What's 2 minus 10 on the right-hand side?
2 minus 10.
Negative.
12. Negative 12.
No. So think about integers on a number line. If you add 2 and you minus 10, you're going to go 2 to get to 0, and another 8 is going to get you negative 8. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's going to be negative 8.
Oh, it's negative 8. I
Yeah.
said 8.
Yeah. Okay, try C now. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we can try that when you're done. We actually just ran out of time, so I'll go through it quickly and then we can stop there, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'll give you some homework. Don't forget to try that, right? 2x
Yeah.
minus 3 equals 9 plus 3 equals 12, and that cancels out. So 2x equals 12. Divide by 2 equals 6. So x equals 6 for the last one.